All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Living with Audacity. But this episode today is extra special. Why? Because it is my 6-year anniversary of ownership of Me To Moi Health. I cannot believe this is why you see this champagne that is here, because I'm celebrating 6 years of entrepreneurship. I cannot believe that I'm here. If somebody had said to me, I've said this before, Aisha, you're going to own a business, that you're going to, have a successful coaching business. You're going to be a leadership coach for the Canadian Olympic Committee. You're going to be a published author. You're going to have started podcasts. You would have done a live broadcast. You would have, done workshops and facilitations for, for-profit, not-for-profit organizations. I would have been like, that's a cute idea, but there's no way I could do it. This 6-year again, remains an opportunity for me to be so reflective around what this journey has been, how I got here, why I made such intentional and purposeful steps to get comfortable with stepping into my purpose, stepping into my power. And it's still a journey. Like, I by no means have reached the pinnacle of where I want to be, but you better believe that your girl is on that trajectory. As I said to you before, my word for 2025 is refinement, and that's where I feel like I am. I feel like I'm refining my purpose. I'm refining my the way I'm showing up. I'm refining the way I am taking up space and recognizing that I really do have a lot to offer. But right now, I just want to sit in a little bit of glory and a little bit of gratitude for what these last 6 years has been. This is going to be a little bit like the Grammy Awards, and I have notes because there's so many things that I want to say, so many people that I want to thank that I needed to make sure that I didn't forget. So, of course, I need to thank, first and foremost, my parents. I need to pay homage to my parents because I feel like when people ask me the question of like, Aisha, how did you become this confident person? How did you realize that you had a purpose, a power, that there was something greater for you out there? I have to say it was because of my parents. And it wasn't necessarily that they ever said, you're going to be a certified health coach, but it was more that they said, you're going to be something great. My parents, from as long as I can remember, have poured life into my brother and I. They have always made us understand that we are greater than sometimes what we believe ourselves to be. And I feel like that is something that I have carried with me. And when I think about what my journey has been, if I think about what it is that I have thrived through, I really do have to honor them for just setting a tone, being an example of what it meant to be strong, Black people, proud of who they are, of their accomplishments. But it was honestly the way in which they nurtured my brother and I, that mediocrity was never an option, that greatness was the only option, that, fine, we needed to work harder sometimes than others, but that we didn't, or we shouldn't allow systems and structures to dictate what our trajectory was. And I feel they are foundational in what I've achieved. And certainly anybody who knows my brother, he's an owner, founder also of Audaci-T.E.A, a clothing line. Check that out. It is because of what they have nurtured and instilled into us. I want to offer a very special shout out to my husband, Dwayne. It is going to be this year 28 years of us being together, 18 years of marriage. And Dwayne has been, he's probably smiling right now because his name is being shouted out. But I really do got to honor him as well, because there have been many sacrifices that he has made in the name of me being able to achieve and do the things that I have done in my life. And it is nothing that I take for granted. So I want to just take a moment to tell you how much I love you, babe. I thank you for showing up and for being a cheerleader, sometimes for offering unsolicited opinions that I don't desire or think that I don't need, but really in hindsight, I know where they're coming from, and I know it's because you want me to do better and be better. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank my kids for being a motivator. They say that you always want more for your kids. I feel like I started on such a great footing because of my parents, and I'm hoping that my children are starting at an even better place than where I've started. So I want to thank them for just being the muses and the inspiration for me to continue to pushing. My in-laws, who've also been a staple in my life, and who have made many things possible for my husband and I to achieve. our best friends, Junior and Steph, who've also been rocks in our lives, who are more than best friends, family. I have a very large, beautiful family of cousins, Yolanda, Tamika, Christopher. I can't believe I said Christopher because I don't really call him by his full name, but Chris, Dexter, who I also call James, my godparent. Like, I just come from a family of people who are just riding for you, whether it's silently or openly. Much of what has been achieved, not necessarily related to Me To Moi, but just what has given me motivation is because of the family that I have. I didn't name everyone, so don't get offended that your name wasn't there, but I absolutely adore you and love you. And thank you for just riding with me the way that you have. This has been such an unveiling. And I think when I first started this podcast, I said to you that I entered into this space thinking, okay, well, Aisha, you're going to coach people how to be empowered, how to step into their purpose, not realizing how much I would learn about myself, how much I would shed a narrative around that I couldn't, and really step into a space where I could, that the things that I desired were really in my control, and that the systems and structures wanted to act as though they were barriers, but in fact, they were just attempts at distracting the greatness that really existed in me. I've learned so much about myself in these last 6 years that I feel if I didn't take the gamble to step into entrepreneurship, that I wouldn't have learned those lessons. And what I came to realize is that this, the development or the idea of Me To Moi, I think originally was a business, but it really has become more than a business. It really is a reclaiming of myself, of my purpose, of my power, and understanding that sometimes we possess gifts greater than ourselves and that we have a responsibility to share that. And so I don't think I would have realized that until I stepped into the journey of entrepreneurship. This journey has been anything but easy. There have been many challenges, many obstacles, many hardships, many failures. But as I've shared in my podcast over and over again, I think it is in those moments that you start to unpack and really understand where your strength is, where resilience lies, where your power is, where your purpose is. And so I am grateful for every door that was shut. I am grateful for every mistake that I made. I'm grateful for every challenge that I decided not to just fold, but to push through, because it was in those moments that I really learned what I had capacity to do. And all of the things that I named when I just started this podcast wouldn't have happened if I just stayed in status quo, if I stayed in my comfort zone. And really every challenge has taught me that growth doesn't necessarily have to feel like expansion. It sometimes has to feel like shedding, because in this process, I have let go of many people, places, and things that also haven't served me, which isn't easy to do. But again, growth and elevation and challenge isn't necessarily about expansion, but it's something about the requirement to just shed the things that no longer serve you. There have been many takeaways that have come through this process over these last 6 years. One, it has been getting comfortable with owning my purpose. I think a lot of times we feel like we have to, as I've said, dim our light or not show up in a way that other people feel intimidated. But you know what? When you are purposeful and powerful, and when you are affirmed and confirmed in who you are, you can be nothing other than standing in that purpose. And so, again, one of the greatest takeaways has been getting comfortable in this space. Doesn't mean that I'm better than anyone. It just means that I have purpose and that I am great. And I'm grateful for that lesson. I have learned what it means to lead with purpose. I think I'd say in the beginning of this journey, I definitely felt like I was a jack of many trades, that I needed to do this, I needed to do that. And as I said to you, 2025 has been about a refinement, and this journey has been about honing in, becoming sharpshooter focused around what my purpose is, where my power is, and how to lead with purpose. And that has been a huge takeaway. I've also learned the lesson of self-trust and clarity, knowing that I will not fail myself. That even in moments of hardship, I'm going to make a decision that is right for me. I might doubt, but I have to trust that I would not lead myself astray. That has been another huge takeaway for me during this process. And I would say the last piece has been, or the last takeaway has been that alignment matters, right? When we do things that don't serve us or that are not in alignment with our values and beliefs, we know it, right? We don't do it with full authenticity. We don't do it smoothly. We actually do it with difficulty and because it is not authentic to us. So for me, making sure that I move in a place of alignment has been fundamental to this journey. As I said to you in the beginning, I am in such a deep place of gratitude for the people that continue to support me and love me, but also for the people who have chosen to leave me and to not be in my circle, because clearly you weren't destined to be in this space. So I thank you. I thank you for naturally removing yourself and creating more space for those who are deserving of my love and my friendship. I thank you. Deuces. The truth is, I didn't build this alone. And I think for those of us who are on this journey, no matter where you are in entrepreneurship, you need to make sure that you give light and put those who show up for you in many different ways in that light. And I have so many people in my life that are deserving of those flowers. I say thank you to you. And I think the last thing that I want to leave you all with is, as you know, I'm on this journey of living with Audacity, and there's no end game to that. But I want to remind you that as I step into this new season, as I welcome 6 years of entrepreneurship, of, beginning Me To Moi Health, that this version of Aisha is only going to become more refined, more purposeful, more intentional, more aligned. And I look forward to that. I don't know what the future holds, but you better believe that I am here for all of it. Again, the highs, the lows, the shadows, the opportunities, the challenges. I welcome it all because I realize that is where the most amount of growth has been. That when I'm not fearful of what is to come, but just simply believing that I will be successful and that I will learn and that I will grow is where the greatest lessons have come. And so, hold on, let me get my glass. I want to thank you all. Like Snoop Dogg, I want to thank you for being with me. But most of all, I want to thank me. I want to thank myself. I'm going to be real. I'm going to thank myself because were it not for my commitment to self, to the journey of self-discovery, self-actualization, self-awareness, I wouldn't be here. And I think it's so important that when we're on a journey of greatness, that yes, it is important to show gratitude to those who continue to be on this journey with us, but you better believe that you better give yourself a big up. Because were it not for your effort, were it not for your time, your commitment, your sacrifice, for those times that people don't see, right? Because of course what we show is all the great times, but for those moments where you might be in that corner thinking, why am I doing this? I salute you. And so I want to thank you all for being on this journey with me. To Me To Moi Health, I want to thank you for taking me on this journey because I thought that what I was doing was solely for those who would have an opportunity to join this movement. But I really want to thank myself for giving myself the space and place to just tap in and understand that Me To Moi is also my unveiling, my relinquishing of narratives, of expectations, and assumptions that no longer serve me in order to be in a place that I'm at today. So cheers. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Me To Moi movement. And there's so much more to come.